everyone, and welcome to this insightful discussion. Today, we're diving deep into a concept that has the power to transform your life and your destiny. It's a simple yet profound idea encapsulated in the saying, for things to change, you have to change. This has been one of the core tenets of my philosophy, and I'm excited to explore it with you. Throughout our lives, we encounter numerous challenges that test our resilience and determination. It's during these moments that the call for personal change becomes most critical. The real key to overcoming obstacles lies not in wishing for our circumstances to improve, but in improving ourselves first. Think about it. How often do we find ourselves stuck in patterns that don't serve us, hoping for different results without taking the necessary steps towards personal growth? The reality is, if we want things to be different, we must be the catalyst for that change. But let's be honest, committing to change isn't always easy. It requires a willingness to confront our current ways, challenge our preconceived notions, and sometimes step out of our comfort zones. It's a journey that needs courage and conviction. As we move through this podcast, let's keep this thought in mind. Every action we take towards self-improvement brings us closer to the outcomes we desire. Change begins with us, and it's within our power to shape our own futures. Remember, change is a process. It's a series of small, incremental steps that over time lead to significant transformation. And while the road may be challenging, it's undoubtedly rewarding. I'm eager to share more insights and practical wisdom with you as we progress. So stick around as we delve deeper into what it really means to embrace change and how it can lead to a more fulfilled and successful life. In the journey of personal development, there's a fundamental truth that often gets overlooked. For things to change, you have to change. This profound statement isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a call to action. It's about understanding that the external circumstances we face can often reflect our internal state. Think about it. How many times have we wished for a better job, healthier relationships, or perhaps a more fulfilling life? But wishing alone won't make it so. What truly propels us forward is change. And not just any change, but purposeful, intentional change. Change demands that we confront certain truths about ourselves. It might tell us that certain habits need to be broken, skills need to be acquired, or a mindset needs to be shifted. And while it can be uncomfortable at first, it is absolutely necessary. Let me share a story. Years ago, I met a farmer. This farmer taught me a beautiful lesson about change. He said, "You cannot reap the harvest without sowing the seeds." This metaphor extends beyond farming. It's about planting the seeds of our own development and then nurturing them diligently each day. When you begin to embrace change, really embrace it, you'll find that life starts to flow more smoothly. Problems become opportunities for growth, and setbacks become setups for comebacks. This is the power of change. So you delve deeper into this concept today. I invite you to consider, what is one area in your life where you're ready to see transformation? What seeds are you willing to plant today to ensure a richer tomorrow? As we continue our journey today, one aspect we must not overlook is identifying the challenges that lie before us. It's crucial to recognize these barriers because we cannot change what we do not acknowledge. Understanding our challenges is the first real step towards transformation. You see, for things to change, you have to change. But how can you initiate this change if you don't know what's standing in your way? Let's consider some common challenges. Maybe it's a lack of motivation, perhaps it's fear of failure, or it could even be a simple case of complacency. Each of these obstacles requires its own strategy. The challenge lies in digging deep, being honest with ourselves and understanding what specifically is holding us back. It's also about becoming aware of the external factors and internal dialogues that make these challenges appear insurmountable. Recognizing a challenge can be uncomfortable. It demands vulnerability. Yet this vulnerability opens the door to profound personal growth. It's in naming these hurdles that we empower ourselves to overcome them. Remember the words of an old friend, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." This means acknowledging the difficulties without wishing them away. Instead, learn to see them as opportunities to grow and improve. Let's pause and reflect. What are the challenges in your life that you need to address? Can you name them? Once you do, you'll find yourself better equipped to deal with them, turning potential setbacks into setups for your success. Now, as we move forward, hold these reflections close. They will serve as a beacon guiding you through the sea of change. Right now, it's about clarity, knowing your challenges intimately so you can begin the transformative process with purpose and determination. Faced with that understanding, we're prepared to dive deeper, where we'll soon explore how to overcome the resistance that often accompanies personal transformation. Keep those challenges in sight, but do not see them as permanent barriers. Instead, view them as stepping stones on your path to becoming better. When we talk about resisting change, it's important to recognize that this resistance often stems from a place of fear or discomfort. People have a natural aversion to the unknown. I've been there myself. In the early years of my career, I resisted stepping out of my comfort zone, believing that what I had was enough. I learned the hard way that staying within the confines of what we know and trust simply limits growth. Let me tell you a story. I once had an opportunity that required me to move cities, and it terrified me. I had built a life where I was, and the thought of starting over was daunting. Yet I realized that for things to change, I had to change. It was one of the most pivotal moments of my life when I decided to embrace opportunity. By taking that leap, I encountered new experiences, met incredible people, and ultimately transformed my life in ways I could never have imagined. So how do we start overcoming this resistance to change? The first step is awareness, acknowledging your fears and understanding why you're resisting. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding by resisting this change? This self-reflection can open doors to new insights and strategies on your journey toward personal development. Next, it's crucial to set small, actionable goals. Changing too much at once can be overwhelming, so you want to ease yourself into new habits. Break down the change into manageable steps. When I wanted to improve my public speaking skills, I didn't jump into hosting large conferences. Instead, I started with small groups, which gradually built my confidence. Lastly, surround yourself with a supportive network. Engaging with like-minded individuals who encourage growth can be invaluable. Whether it's family, friends, or a mentor, having someone to guide you and hold you accountable can enhance your ability to welcome change. As we move forward, it's essential to understand the powerful influence our minds have on the change we desire. One of my famous quotes that encapsulates this is, things to change, you have to change. Let's dive into what that truly means. Often people underestimate their mindset's impact. They think change is about external circumstances, but it starts within. A positive mindset acts as a catalyst, paving the way for personal growth and transformation. Imagine you're a farmer. With the right mindset, you prepare the soil, plant the seeds, and provide what the crops need to flourish. Without this nurturing mindset, you risk letting your field become barren, missing the opportunity for a fruitful harvest. The challenge we face is reprogramming ourselves, especially when negativity has taken root. It's crucial to pull out these weeds of doubt and fear before we can plant the seeds of positivity and opportunity. A major pivotal turning point in our journey to change is realizing that we must be active participants in reshaping our thoughts. It's not enough to simply wish for change. We must proactively cultivate a mindset that seeks out growth and embraces the challenge. To overcome this hurdle, adopt practices that strengthen your mindset. Surround yourself with positivity, engage with personal development materials, and most importantly, stay persistent. Change isn't instantaneous. It's a gradual progression powered by consistency. So remember, when you find yourself struggling with the process of change, evaluate the lens through which you view your world. Ask yourself, are you enabling growth or are you allowing resistance to hold you back? As we transition to the next piece of our discussion, keep in mind that mindset is the bedrock on which all change is built. It's the foundation you'll rely on as we explore further elements that will support your journey to meaningful transformation. Let's build on what we've just discussed about the role of mindset. This section is all about taking responsibility for our own paths. It may not always feel comfortable, but remember, for things to change, you have to change. Taking responsibility starts with understanding that we are the architect of our futures. Whether it's our health, our finances, or our relationships, it all begins with the choices we make and the actions we take. We have to ask ourselves, what can I do today, right now, to make a difference? Sometimes it's the smallest decision that leads to the biggest breakthroughs. And it all comes down to owning up to our current realities without blaming others. The most powerful shift happens when we move from a victim mentality to one of ownership. This is where the transformation begins. It's not about what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens that defines your journey. I'd like to challenge our listeners today. Think about an area of your life where you're waiting for change to happen. Now identify one action you can take to steer that change in the right direction. Remember, the power is in your hands. This isn't just about making a one-time change. It's about creating habits of responsibility. Consistency is key. By taking small, consistent actions, we build momentum and ultimately transform our lives. As we wrap up this section, hold on to the thought that responsibility catalyzes change. It's a principle that we choose to live by. It not only empowers us, but guides us toward progressive and meaningful success each day. Now let's talk about a critical component that will propel you forward in our journey of personal and professional development, vision and goal setting. It's one thing to say you want change, but without a clear vision, you're like a ship without a rudder. You're adrift in an endless sea without destination. You gotta have a picture in your mind of where you want to go. That's your vision. We must reimagine what we want our lives to look like and focus on that image. This vision keeps you motivated and aligns your actions with your desires. But having a vision is not enough. You need to set achievable goals that break down your vision into actionable steps. Think of goals as mile markers on your journey. They help you measure progress and keep you on track toward your bigger picture. A clear vision and concrete goals work hand in hand. Together, they serve as a roadmap, guiding you along the path of personal development. The true purpose of goals is to compel you to become the person it takes to achieve them. One of the challenges we face is determining what's truly achievable for us. People often set goals either too high or too low. The key is to set goals that are just out of reach, not out of sight. They should stretch you but remain within the realm of possibility. In drawing up your roadmap, be sure to define both your short-term and long-term goals. Short-term goals give you immediate targets to strive for and help build momentum. Long-term goals provide direction and purpose. It's essential to periodically revisit your goals and vision. Circumstances and priorities can change, and this self-check ensures you're still headed in the right direction. It's how you adapt and grow through the phases of life. Remember, the process of setting and achieving goals is dynamic. It's okay to adjust and recalibrate as necessary. What matters is your commitment to progress and your openness to change. Thus, we transition into coming discussions. These concepts of vision and goal setting will act as our guiding principles. Next, we'll delve into how we can turn these goals into reality, but for now, reflect on your vision, challenge yourself to dream the dream, and dare the dare. Moving on from the vision and goals we've set for ourselves, let's dive into the action it takes to bring those dreams to life. Now, this is where it gets a bit tricky because setting goals often feels rewarding on its own, but without consistent action, they merely remain aspirations. You see, for things to change, you have to change. This quote doesn't just serve as motivation, but as a reminder that our daily actions need to be aligned with our goals. If we want different results, we have to do things differently. One challenge many face is the comfort of their old habits. It's easy to fall back into routines we are used to, even if they do not serve our objectives. The discipline of action requires us to push ourselves out of these comfort zones consistently. So how do we do this? By building discipline and cultivating new habits that are in line with the life we aspire to lead. What I've realized is it's about the small, consistent efforts we make daily. It's about saying, today I'll take that steps and then doing it again tomorrow. Think of it like planting seeds. If you plant seeds consistently and tend to them diligently over time, you will grow a magnificent garden. But if you skip a day or say, I'll do it later, the garden may not flourish as you expect. Consistent action. This is the real discipline. This brings us to issues like procrastination, a common barrier many encounter. Overcoming this requires a trickle of small victories. It's about breaking tasks down into manageable steps and celebrating each completion. Our emotional and dramatic turning point, if you will, is when we recognize we are in complete control of our actions. That's the power of discipline. Doing what we need to do, whether or not we feel like doing it, every day, every moment presents an opportunity to act towards improvement. As we continue our journey, I encourage you to reflect on this discipline. Watch how consistent action begins to manifest change in your life. Feel the empowerment in knowing that with every step you take, every habit you form, you inch closer to the person you want to become. This discipline isn't just about rigid control. It's about freedom. the freedom to transform potential into reality. It's about achieving a form of personal sovereignty, knowing that you have the power over your destiny. You know, when we embark on the journey of change, we often face setbacks. It's inevitable, like a law of nature. As sure as the sun rises, I remember when I first began my career, I faced numerous obstacles, some of them so daunting that quitting felt like the only option. I was selling goods, trying to make a living. I had little experience, and I was met with failure more times than I could count. I missed quotas, lost clients, and at one point I was nearly bankrupt. But it was through these failures that I learned valuable lessons I could never have learned through success alone. One of the most profound realizations I had was that failure is only the end if you decide to stop trying. The moment you choose to see failure as a stepping stone, everything changes. That change isn't always immediate. Sometimes it takes days, months, even years. But the seed of transformation is planted. There's an old quote I love. For things to change, you have to change. When I failed, I understood that my strategy, my mindset, my knowledge needed to improve. I began to listen more, to question more, to learn from everyone around me. The turning point came when I reframed my failures. Instead of seeing them as defeats, I saw them as data, as feedback. What are they showing me? What do I need to adjust? When that mindset shift happened, it felt as though a weight lifted off my shoulders. And the real breakthrough was recognizing that I didn't have to do it alone. Seeking mentors, people who would walk similar paths, was crucial. They gave me perspectives and advice that no book or course could offer. Think about it this way. Every failure gives you one more piece of the puzzle. Each challenge sharpens your skills, owns your judgment, and ultimately builds your resilience. That resilience is what prepares you for the next steps. Remember, those who succeed are not those who never fail, but those who never quit. They understand that failure is not fatal. It's a signal, an opportunity to realign your approach and strengthen your resolve. As you continue on this journey, carrying wisdom from your past experiences, keep in mind what we've discussed. Failures are not the end. Instead, let them fuel your growth. We have so much more to discuss as we move forward into how we adapt to changing circumstances. As we move forward, adaptability remains a crucial element in facing the unforeseen challenges life presents. Remember, it's not the blowing of the wind that determines your destination, it's the set of the sail. Imagine a sailor caught in a storm. The winds may be fierce and the waves daunting, but the sailor who adjusts his sails and remains focused on his direction can navigate safely through. This is the essence of adaptability. When circumstances change, are you willing to change with them? Our ability to adapt affects not only our success, but also our survival. Now let me share some strategies to enhance your adaptability. Firstly, remain open to new ideas. This can be difficult when you're comfortable with the status quo, but comfort often leads to complacency. Secondly, cultivate a mindset of curiosity. Ask questions, seek new experiences, and never stop learning. The more diverse your experiences, the better equipped you are to handle the unexpected. Another important tip is to practice resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks. It demands that we learn from our experiences, both good and bad, and let's not forget the power of taking action. When faced with a challenge, procrastination can be your enemy. Taking action helps build momentum even in the face of adversity. I'm reminded of a quote by Charles Darwin. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. This underscores the significance of adaptability. Let's integrate these concepts into how we approach each new day. By embracing adaptability, we can transform potential setbacks into opportunities for growth. As we bring these ideas together, let's consider how they blend into our daily interactions and influence our surroundings. These changes start with us fostering both personal and interconnected growth. Many people underestimate the power of influence and the networks we build. It's critical to understand that who you spend time with shapes who you become. Let me tell you a story about a young entrepreneur I once met. She found herself surrounded by peers who were content with mediocrity. She realized for things to change, I have to change. And that meant seeking out new circles, finding mentors who could lift her up, challenge her, and inspire her. But networking isn't just about meeting a lot of people. It's about creating meaningful relationships. Surround yourself with those who Who challenge your limits and inspire you to reach for more? Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. There will be challenges, though. Not everyone you meet will have your best interest at heart. Some connections may seem valuable but are not aligned with your goals or values. You have to sift through and discern whose influence will truly be positive for your growth. Let's talk about influence. Just as food nourishes the body, so does the company you keep nurture your mind and soul. Make sure your company is as good as your food. The emotional turning point is often when you realize that some relationships need to be left behind. It's not easy to cut ties, but for growth, sometimes it's necessary. These decisions can be difficult, but remember they are necessary for your own development. Change is hard, but what's harder is regret. That's aligning yourself with positive influences. You ensure that every moment is a step forward towards your potential. So embrace this challenge. The next person you meet could be the influence that changes the trajectory of your life. Be intentional in your networking, because through others we find a full reflection of ourselves. As we delve into the power of continuous learning, remember my famous quote, for things to change, you have to change. Change is spurred by knowledge. So, how do we cultivate change within ourselves and subsequently in our lives? The answer lies in empowering ourselves through knowledge. Every book we read, every course we take, and each class attended plays a vital role in our transformation. Imagine this. Our life is like a vessel of potential waiting to be filled with knowledge. The more we learn, the more equipped we are to make informed decisions, seize opportunities, and tackle challenges head on. But learning isn't just about collecting information. It's about applying what you've learned to make meaningful changes. This is the real magic of knowledge. At times we face intense challenges that might make us doubt the process of self-improvement. But these challenges are precisely what propel us forward if we've equipped ourselves with the right knowledge. Think of it this way. Continuous learning builds resilience. It arms us with the creative and critical thinking skills needed to solve any problem that comes our way. As Socrates once said, the true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. You embrace the never-ending journey of learning because it is the key to your personal and professional evolution. So let this section inspire you commit to daily learning, either through reading a book, added to your field, listening to an insightful podcast, or engaging with a mentor who challenges your thinking. By consistently seeking knowledge, we find ourselves better positioned to bring about change not only in our lives, but also in the communities we are part of. Let the pursuit of knowledge become your guiding light, illuminating the path as you navigate the winds of change. Remember, the more you learn, the more you earn, not just financially, but also in terms of personal growth and fulfillment. Now, as we transition to our next segment, be prepared to explore further the emotional turning points that play a crucial role in our transformational journey. The journey of change always begins with a crucial moment, a turning point that forever alters our trajectory. Today, I want to share with you a story that captures this emotional turning point. It's about a man who, like many of us, was struggling with stagnation in his life. This man had dreams and aspirations, but he found himself stuck in a cycle of working hard without truly getting anywhere. The Sunday blues were real, and so too were the Monday morning dreads. His life was on repeat, and deep down, this began to eat away at him. In the evening, as he was winding down from yet another monotonous day, something clicked. It was almost as if the universe stopped for a moment to let him in on a vital truth. For things to change in life, he had to change. That realization hit him hard, like a wave crashing over a stagnant shore. It was an emotional storm, complete with moments of fear, doubt, and vulnerability. But within it, he also found a spark of hope, a vision that perhaps his life could indeed be different. The story continues as he decided to embrace this newfound awareness. His life began to transform with each small, deliberate change he made, fueled by the power of consistent improvement and self-reflection. This tale isn't just about one man's journey. It is a universal lesson that reminds us all of the necessity of change. And it's often through these emotional turning points that we find strength we didn't know we had. You must remember, the driving force behind any change in life often lies within our willingness to alter ourselves. If you're facing challenges, look at them as opportunities for growth. The discomfort you feel when confronted with adversity is a signal that you're on the cusp of transformation. Use this discomfort to fuel positive changes in your habits. For example, if the challenge is about improving financial Stability, start by enhancing your knowledge through reading and mentoring. Leverage resources and invest in your skills. Often challenges may seem daunting, but breaking them down into manageable steps makes them more approachable. Take time to reflect on the issues you're facing. Is it in your personal life? Perhaps it's your professional path. Define it clearly and then use practical steps to address them. The aim here is not to view challenges as insurmountable hurdles, but rather as stepping stones for reaching your highest potential. Achieving change demands consistent action driven by defined goals. Set timelines and measure your progress. It keeps you accountable and motivated. Also, don't underestimate the power of your environment. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire you and challenge you to grow. Remember, personal transformation is an inside job. Start with your mindset and let it reflect externally through actions. And as you align your actions with your goals, you'll find that the challenges you face begin to diminish, leaving a pathway clear for development. Now, embracing this approach will ensure that the difficulties you're currently navigating transform into meaningful experiences. As we've journeyed through this discussion, it's clear that the catalyst for any real and lasting change begins within oneself. It's not about waiting for circumstances to alter, but about changing our own perspectives and actions. Remember the essence of my earlier statement. For things to change, you have to change. This means taking active steps even when the path seems daunting. Think about it. Every challenge we've discussed has pushed us to dig deeper into what really drives us. It's this introspection that serves as the bedrock for growth. And we confront these obstacles not as immovable barriers, but as opportunities to transform. Imagine the progress you stand to make by adopting this mindset. By embracing change and welcoming the discomfort that comes with it, you develop resilience and adaptability. These are not mere buzzwords, but are essential traits for success in any endeavor. Each decision, each small step forward in response to these challenges compounds to create significant growth over time. You redefine your journey and subsequently your destination changes too. So what's the takeaway? You are at the helm of your life's journey. Choose to steer your course through change, not away from it. As we wrap up, I encourage you to act upon the insights shared. Reflect on your current situation, identify where change is needed, and take that first step. It might be reading a new book, seeking guidance from a mentor, or simply reassessing your daily habits. Growth is a continuous process. While your discussion ends here, your journey doesn't. Embark on it with curiosity and courage. Embrace change and you'll find the growth you seek.